Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad and Buried show. It is our momentous 30th episode, which is more than half of a year and not a full year. It's a random number that I decided was going to be our mailbag grab bag episode, where we took a bunch of questions from our loyal listeners and people who aren't loyal.
Great.
Just maybe saw that message and were like, let me throw in a question.
What is a grab bag?
It's like when you were a kid in a class, there'd be like a bag of shitty toys, and you could like shut your eyes and reach in and grab something, and who knows what you're gonna get, right? And there's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Have you ever seen that movie, Pulp Fiction?
You know what?
Should have won Best Picture that year.
This
Instead,
podcast is not this shitty.
it is. It is exactly
sorry.
this shitty.
Well, tell us.
And also this amazing.
Yeah.
So my name is Mike. I am known online as Dad and Buried. This is my friend Pete. He is not known online and is barely known offline.
Yep. My wife constantly is like, "Who's in the house?
Who's that?
Who is
Who's
that
that
guy?
making a bunch of noise over
that
there?
dude?
That motherfucker." So I make my bones, as we will, you will, if you will.
Nope.
Trashing my children and the process, the process of parenting.
Okay.
Because parenting sucks.
You know what? You give yourself. You're selling yourself short. You not only trash your own kids, you trash
Other people's kids.
Lots
I
of people's
love
kids.
trashing
Yeah,
other people's
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
When I trash other people's kids, I mean it. When
You
I
should
trash
listen
my
to
kids,
our
I'm being
first
sarcastic.
episode was good. You actually, I think, wrote a tweet about.
I did.
Yeah.
During the episode, I spoke of a story in which I wrote a tweet in
Yeah.
which I trashed a kid for wearing a camouflage tank top.
Yep. And boy, that kid will. You know what? He learned.
Hopefully he'll prove us all wrong. You never know. So I have a blog called Dad and Buried. It's at dadandburied.com. I'm on Facebook. Google search Facebook Dad and Buried. I'm on Instagram. I'm verified. I don't like to talk about it because I'm a pretty modest guy.
You know what? And you do a lot of work for charity.
I
but
do.
you
I don't do any work for charity.
Well,
you know what?
you
Charity needs to do some work for me because I'm still unemployed.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
I'm doing my best. I'm
Okay.
having a good time with my friends and my family.
This is fun.
Not as much with my family.
Yeah,
because
I was
who
gonna
has
say,
that much
that was
fun with
weird.
their family?
That was a weird thing
Was
to
weird.
say.
But
This is fun.
I like to trash things in general.
Relationships.
And these days my life is dominated by
Cars.
my family and my children and
Yes.
parenting. So I spend a lot of time making jokes about it. My friend Pete here,
Yep.
he was like, "Hey, that guy's going places. Let
You
me
know
hitch
what?
my wagon to him."
Yeah. Or another way to look at it is put this whole thing together.
Oh, that is another way to look at
Yeah.
it. We're going to get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
All right. So we appreciate you. If you've been here before, if you haven't, welcome.
Welcome.
There's a lot of different ways to support us. There's a lot of free ways.
Yes.
Like you can spread the word. Just tell somebody you meet on the street.
Hey, guy.
Have you heard
listen to
Dad
this.
and Buried? Have you heard of them?
What is it again? Buried? No. Okay.
Someone
I know
came up
it's
to me once.
complicated,
Someone
but
came up
just
to me once
say
and said, "What does that mean, buried?" And I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, "It's buried," but apparently, buried is the way some people pronounce the word buried. Nate is nodding like
You
he
know
knows,
what?
like down south, buried.
If that's a real thing, Mike, you've really chosen a shit.
Yeah. Well, other people think that sometimes I am dad and my son's name is buried, like I named him Buried.
Yeah. Buried.
Buried, which would be dad and BARY
God.
apostrophe D.
You know what? Change your son's name
To Barry?
fucking right now to
That
Barry.
honestly,
To
I'm considering
Barry.
it.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that
yeah.
idea.
Not only is it pop culture relevant, excuse me.
What is Barry?
Barry?
Oh,
The-
'cause
the-
of
the
the Bill
HBO
Hader show. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that show.
It's amazing.
That's not pop culture relevant though.
Why?
It's
why
like
not?
it's like a. It's
Why
just
would
not.
you say that
It's
to
not
me?
mainstream. Not a lot of people
Mainstream?
would. When you hear the word Barry, you don't immediately think of the show Barry. You immediately think, "Wow, that's a shitty name." I think that's the first
And
instinct.
then the second thought is that's a good show with Bill Hader.
Right, maybe. Fine. Anyway, so you can spread the word on your street corner. You get a megaphone. I don't care how you do it. Just talk about me.
Just come
I
on.
like it when people talk about me. Negative attention, as my college roommate, freshman year roommate would say, negative attention is better than no attention.
Boy, and 3 divorces later.
Anyway, he made a lot of good mixtapes
Yeah.
for a lot of cute girls
Okay.
who rejected him. Anyway, so you can rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We would love some reviews
Yeah.
and some 5-star ratings on there.
Or just, yeah.
Or just
No.
as Pete said.
Five
Thank
star.
you for your contribution.
Yeah, I don't
or
know.
just Anyway, give us a review, subscribe, and engage with us wherever on YouTube. Specific episodes, you can comment on YouTube.
Yep.
If you want to see, again, I say this all the time, if you want to see the latest hip
T-shirt
that I'm wearing or whatever bland thing that Pete is wearing, he's not known for his fashion sense. He dislikes mine.
Well,
but I've got there's a little bit of flair going on.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
you come from work.
Urban Outfitters.
I don't have a job.
Urban Outfitters.
And I wear
has to make a
recycled
living
tees.
somehow, and you've gotten a lot of your T-shirts.
Somebody made fun of me on Instagram and said, when you do your stories, it feels like you only own 6 shirts. And I'm like, I own 10, but I'm too fat for the other 4, right? So hopefully this fall, I'll slim down and you'll get to see some new shirts enter the rotation.
Is that how fall works? It's not. You fatten up.
But it is for me because I'm starting to get back into the gym.
Oh, good for
I don't
you.
do it seasonally.
Good for you.
I do it, when the spirit takes me.
Oh, yeah. The body and the soul combined.
Didn't make any sense. Anyway, you can also support us on Patreon or on Anchor or at our merch shop. I do this every day. shop.spreadshirt.com/dad-and-buried. And the hyphens are important because you won't find us if you don't include them.
There you go. And you can buy all sorts of really...
You can. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there with my Dad and Buried logo.
Shit. Yeah. Like, think of it.
You got it. Dad and Buried. Yeah,
you know
what?
Think
if
of
you
something,
can conjure it in your headspace, it exists
there.
on spreadshirt.com,
so
dad-and-buried.
Stop thinking about it because there's too much.
Yep. Now you've overloaded the fucking universe, and now there's only 3 things on there, and one of which is a fucking coffee mug, which is basically the only thing you probably want off there, a coffee mug. Just ask Sarge. Anyway, Sarge is one of our Patreon supporters.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't remember what tier he's on. He's on the father figure tier, along with Julie McCarthy, my old friend, Paula Polsky, and Anna Rico. Thank you. I'm sorry. Is it Anna or is it Anna? Pete, do you know?
No, I don't. But you know what?
That's the problem with living a digital life.
I think it would be Anna.
Okay. I worked with a woman named Anna once, and it was difficult.
Imagine.
Like Andrea on 90210, you immediately are like, you're pretentious, Andrea, and you're also 10 to 15 years older than everyone else in the cast, and it's just confusing.
She's the president of the Screen Actors Guild.
She is nowadays.
Gabrielle
Carteris. They've just rebooted 90210. I haven't seen it, and you know what? I never will.
And you know what? That's a pretty powerful position to be in. So she went from 90210 to the president of the Screen Actors Guild?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so the single dad tier, Chris Coleman, Miriam. Thank you, Miriam. She's a new, brand new subscriber.
Thank you so much.
Babayan, very loyal. Mary, we enjoy your presence.
As always.
We have a comment from you coming up soon. The dad bod tier, Barbara Geiger. She lives in Germany. Geigs, Funky Fee on Instagram if you want to. Morning Glow, thank you, Morning Glow, for joining us. We appreciate you. We already did the father figure tier. We're not doing it again. World's Greatest Dad, Mary Williams, a mom party of 2. And my new dad, Sarah.
Are you kidding me, Sarah?
You might think that's weird to call someone named Sarah my new dad, but we don't judge.
No, we don't.
I'm into it.
We're all about
new dads.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
thank you guys.
We want to keep doing this.
We really love doing this.
The support, any way you can give it, whether it's just fucking... spiritual support.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Send us your thoughts and prayers.
This is the rare occasion in which thoughts and prayers actually give us a boost and actually accomplish something. I can feel that in my soul.
Good. Wow.
Join us on Patreon. Subscribe and review. We don't care. Anything you want to do, you feel comfortable with.
That sounds good.
So last week, we talked about the double standards of parenting.
Yes, we did.
And it was a topic near and dear to your heart. One of your favorite topics. You were like, for weeks, you were like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this.
I got into it.
And I was like, Pete, calm down. I'm running the show, and I'll decide when we fucking do it.
You don't know. I need it.
A lot of people commented. You seemed a little, because you were, I think, chomping at the bit. Or is it champing at the bit?
Champing.
Look at this.
No, it's champing. C-H-A-M-P.
Is it a cap or is it a hat?
It's what horses do.
Is it a cap or is it a hat?
It can be either one. Depends on what you're talking about.
My Fenway hat that you hate, you think is disgusting.
Baseball cap, I would say.
Thank you,
It's not
Pete.
a baseball
Nate?
hat.
When you go to the doctor and you get a shot and they give you a treat, what is that treat called?
Ibuprofen.
No, stop it. You know what I'm getting at.
Isopropyl.
Shut the fuck up and answer the question. God damn it,
Lots
Nate.
of Oxycontin.
Thank you. A lot. What would you call it?
a sweet.
You are just derailing
sucker
my whole
treat.
premise. It's a sweet sucker treat. It's still better than sucker, which is what some people call it.
You know what?
I'm talking about
Those
KSU
people-
Julie, who is not a patron,
I
but
know.
who calls
Oh.
me out.
What the?
And she was on our live earlier tonight,
Oh my God.
giving us some bullshit, making fun of you for pointing.
You know what? This is for you, KSU. That's
This
a
is for
point.
you, KSU.
That was a
Hey, guess
point.
what, KSU?
You
When
watch
did
this on
you?
YouTube.
When did you actually go to college? It was a while ago. I'm gonna guess. You got a
It's
couple
probably.
of kids. Guess what? Maybe drop the university from your name. You're a fucking grown adult.
Yeah, it was probably 2017.
Who's
if
the
I'm
sucker
thinking
now?
about it.
Anyway, I don't even
know.
remember what we were talking about.
Yeah. So if you want to be violated, listen up because
So,
this is a great
The
podcast.
Double Standards
Yeah.
app,
This
MS
is my- this is a
Babayan,
great
one of the
comment.
most loyal from the beginning. Look, if I were gonna say who the two OGs were,
Oh yeah. This
It's
it was
Sarge
built, this temple was built
and
on
on
two
rock and roll.
pillars. One
Sarge
rock being
and
Sarge
MS
and
Babayan,
roll
and then
being-
I would
yeah.
say Funky Fee, Barbara Geigs is right there,
Absolutely,
coming
absolutely.
up in the rear. No offense. So, MS Babayan wanted to know: was Pete drinking during the last Double Standards
we got
episode?
a comment. So this is what we're doing. So we, so we also push, publish this on YouTube, these episodes, and so the idea is hopefully
We
which
want
is
you
not,
to, like-
not really happening, but we're trying
We want
to
to
get
entice people when they see how
Yeah.
good-looking we both
no,
are.
No one's good looking. But the point is well,
You're
no,
kind of cute.
No.
Fastbender 2.0,
Yeah, low rent.
low rent. Somebody called me like I'm a third copy of Paul Rudd,
Yeah.
but that's only because
copy
I
of a copy.
encourage them to call me Paul Rudd. I don't think they really think that.
No, I don't think that you look like Paul Rudd.
Fuck you.
Okay.
How about that one?
Hey, so
Nate.
listen. So on last
What a
week's
boost.
episode, MS Babayan commented, Pete was drinking before this episode, wasn't
How
he? Comment.
dare you?
Also, he needs to do an entire episode in his British accent. All right,
She
so
has
first things.
messaged me independently
First thing.
and asked me to have you do an
First
episode.
thing.
I said, over my dead fucking body. Am I going to let that happen?
Last episode, first of all, I did not have anything to eat.
You
and
embarrassed yourself. Let's be honest about it.
I texted you guys and I go, I just listened to this episode. I was unintelligible for half of it.
Nate and I
didn't even know what
Nate
the
and
fuck
I have
was talking
spoken about it. We think lubed up Pete in more ways than one
Yeah.
is more fun.
Is
Pete.
better than
Maybe you had a beer too many.
It's another fun version.
I had
No, the sober version is not that great.
That's true. That's true.
I get worse as I drink and as you get to know me. You
Yeah.
get better in both circumstances.
Oh my gosh! You know what? What a welcome surprise for my wife and family, everybody! Yay!
Well, look,
This
you've
is what
had
I
a few
keep telling
tonight.
My family.
You've had a few tonight.
I've had a couple, but last week, let me just put it this: last week, MS Babayan, you're goddamn right.
I can't believe
lit
you
up.
haven't pandered to one of our OGs and given a little British little.
Oh, I don't know. What am I going to do? Be like, MS Babayan, you the OG, you know what I mean? So,
God, it
here we
makes me
go.
sick to my
Let's do it.
stomach.
Does it really?
Liverpool?
No.
Liverpudlian?
What are you talking about? No, mate. We're talking right straight
Tell
London.
me, who's the king of your satellite castle?
What if I wanted to do Newcastle could do printer paper? Does anyone have any
I
printer
will
paper?
fucking-
I need some printer paper. Does
I will
anyone have any?
walk out of here
You should.
right now. I
With
can't
that-
wait to.
But you know what? But then people will miss your Dolphins. He's got a Dolphins T-shirt, but it looks new. Go to YouTube.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
You're saying it looks old?
No, I'm saying, is that the new logo?
Oh yeah, it's from the past few years. It's not from the 70s or 80s.
No, but it's a new. Is that really their new logo? It's like
the
a streamlined
shirt's a
dolphin.
few years old, but yeah, they updated
No, but it's
the
like
logo.
a-
Yeah,
They
it's
should-
hip.
No,
It's not easy to make a dolphin look like it.
You know
plays
who did a good
football.
job of revamping their uniforms? Is the Seahawks. Remember that thing used to be a real piece of shit. The gray and
Growing
the
up, the
green.
Seahawks were my second favorite team.
They were horrible, and then they
Steve Largent.
I don't know. They kind of pulled it together. Some other people could figure it out. Like, what the fuck is this thing going on?
You know what? Name 3 players who've ever played football in the history of America. Name
Patrick
3.
Mahomes, Tom
You
Brady,
son of a bitch.
and Mike Ditka.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I'm proud of you, Mahomes. Give me a
Thanks.
break.
I can't wait. By the way, what a great time to be alive.
What? Because Mahomes is.
No, because
Football's about to
season's-
start?
Yeah.
It's
I get
what,
excited.
3 weeks away?
Yeah.
We're going to do a back to school episode at the beginning of September, and
It's
I'm
a
sure
one-
there'll be
it's-
some
isn't it-
football
it's
chatter.
nice. I mean, here in the States, it's nice to be able to come off the summer.
Here in the States?
Well, we have international listeners. There's people in Scunthorpe listening
What
to
is
us right now.
Scunthorpe? What
It's
is that?
It's a beautiful, beautiful
It sounds
town
like a He-Man
in
villain.
the UK. Scunthorpe.
And Skeletor.
Wonderful. And Trenton
Battling for
on
Eternia.
Yeah.
So what's funny about football season is my birthday is the very beginning of September. I'm a Virgo. Look it up. It always happens to coincide with the start of football season.
Okay.
What's even better is my team always sucks shit.
Yep.
So I love it.
Yeah. None of those things really made much
A difference
sense.
to you?
Okay, so
I turned 36 in September.
Oh, that's not true. So, here's one thing I wanted to bring
I
up.
look
Just
34.
you honestly have a demeanor of a
I have
much,
a demeanor
much
of like an
older
80-year-old person,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I look
Yeah.
31, 32.
Uh-huh. I mean, yeah, if you put a filter on and drink a lot of beers, for sure. So here's the deal.
Beer goggles.
I
What's the deal?
wanted to catch something from last the
Oh,
previous
you don't
episode,
know about
which I
this.
didn't even. So we're before we get into it, which this week's is just a grab bag of
It's fucking
sort
all
of-
over the place this
Alright.
week,
Yeah,
folks.
it's a hot mess, but
Already all over the place.
it's the 30th episode, so we don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But so last week you had a comment that said "Hot Dads of Disneyland."
So Hot Dads
hold
of
on,
Disneyland.
hold on, let me finish
Oh my
it.
God!
Hot Dads of Disneyland acceptable versus MILF, which is offensive. So last week's episode was about double standards, parenting double
Yes.
standards, everything about double standards.
This didn't
goes in
come
it.
up.
This didn't come up. And I was going through the document that we normally put together, like our
Document.
Yeah, I don't know
Wow,
what to
I'm very
call it.
proud of you. This is
Sheet,
very
the sheet.
official.
And we were like, oh, this is what. And I go, what the fuck is this? Is that a
Right.
thing? Is
Yeah,
that a
so there's
real
an
thing?
Instagram
Hot
account
Dads of Disneyland?
That is, I don't know if it's called Hot Dads of Disneyland. It's a thing where
oh, it's an
photos
Instagram account.
are collected of dads.
That's annoying. I thought it was a thing that culturally people would say, like, yo, that's a not a dilf, because that's a weird. That's not gonna catch on.
I have a DILF mug at home. You can
I-
also, if you want, we can put that on
Nope.
spreadshirt.com
No,
slash
no, we
dad
can't.
dash and dash buried.
Don't worry.
D and Bill.
Don't worry.
Shop.spreadshirt.com slash dad hyphen and hyphen buried.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's an Instagram account, I believe, that's called the Hot Dads of Disneyland
Okay.
or DILFs of Disneyland, where they take photos of guys who are like wearing their kids or whatever, and they're good looking dudes.
Okay.
There used to be a prominent dad blogger who was featured on there, not me. I haven't been to Disneyland yet, or obviously.
You'd be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who is this account?
I'm not going to say names.
Are
I'm
they
not going to
just-
name
are they
names.
Just walking around Disneyland taking
Yeah,
pictures
no.
every
I don't know.
day?
I don't know if they like get permission, but yeah, I don't look. It's the fucking internet. It's the Wild West.
I know this whole
It's
thing.
fucking
is insanity.
Thunder Mountain. Isn't that what they call Thunder Mountain's a fun ride at Disneyland? Anyway, I feel like if you were to create an account that was called the Hot Moms of Disneyland or MILFs of Disneyland, you'd get some blowback. That's why I put it
that's what your
initially.
point was?
That's what I initially put it on
Oh,
the double
God.
standards thing. I wanted to get into sexism. We didn't have enough time.
You know what we should do? We should talk before we do this show.
You know what? But we're not friends,
That's
which
a
is
good
the
point.
problem. Which
All
leads
right.
us to the first question we're going to get to when we come back from the break.
All right.
Episode 30, mailbag, grab bag, anything goes. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Here we are, guys. We are back on the grab
Back
bag,
again.
mailbag, or the mailbag, grab bag. The important thing is it's episode 30, which is
Episode 30,
frankly
30
insane.
episode.
I can't believe we've done 30
Yeah,
episodes.
It's amazing.
That's a long time. More than half a year, less than a full year, as I said at the top. I want to thank everybody who's listened to even one.
I know.
If anyone
It's
is out there who's
absolutely
listened to all
amazing.
30, please message us and let us know. I'm very curious. If you've listened to all 30, you deserve, what, like a sticker?
Stop talking about Sarge. We know we
Oh,
owe him.
Sarge.
We know we owe you. We gonna get you.
We do
We're
owe
gonna
Sarge.
get
We owe
you.
him a lot. He got 2 mugs.
We're gonna get
One's
you.
in pieces.
I know.
The other
Did you
one
see
he's
the
drinking out of
picture?
right now.
We
I did see the
we
picture.
should
I
actually
sent it to
post,
you.
We should post that picture. Actually,
The
It's
shitty
amazing.
shipping
Yeah,
from
yeah.
what was that? Was that Spreadshirt?
Spreadshirt.
But
But
you know what?
It's okay.
The merchandise is
It
fantabulous.
is fantabulous.
And they replaced it.
They
totally-
did replace
totally
it because they're
replaced it.
champions.
Yep.
And you know who else is a champion? Sarge.
Yep, he absolutely is.
You know who's not a champion? You.
Okay, what a dick thing to say.
So I
and
wanted to
let's
say,
get
so
into
Little
this.
Charmer 80, the first question we're going to start this whole thing with, She asked me, when you and Pete first met, what were your first impressions of each other? And be honest. So I want to see if you remember. I think you do.
Yeah.
I think the first time we met. So the way we know each other is I went to high school with our mutual friend Tim.
Right.
Tim went to college with the woman who became your wife, right?
Who later became
Your
my wife.
So you met Tim through your wife when you were still dating. And I had known Tim from high school. And then you guys moved to New York. And then I didn't live in New York. So I wasn't part of my friend's
things
Tim's
were
circle.
great.
Things were great. We
super
didn't know each other. Everything was
happy.
perfect. And then I came to New York because I was trying out for VH1's World Series of Pop Culture game show.
This is a 100%
True story. So I came to New
fact.
York and I'm like, who do I know in New York? Oh, my friend Tim. Let's go see Tim. So myself, my friend Suj, who was on my team.
Right.
I don't remember if my friend Jeff, who was also on my team, was there. I don't think so. I think he knew someone else and he was going to see him. And maybe my future wife, Heather.
Suj was living in New York at the time, right?
Suj was living in New York?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Me, Heather, and Jeff drove down and we met up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So we met up.
Heather
So
was
I think it was like the Nolita House or something like that in Soho.
not Nolita House. It was it was on Houston somewhere. I don't know.
Anyway, so we met.
Yeah.
And my first impression was it was like you and Tim seemed to have like some fucking vaudeville routine going on. You guys were very much like
We were
going back and forth, Abbott and Costello. I was like, this is
amazing.
fucking borderline rehearsed. It's obnoxious.
It was
I knew
incredible.
Tim, and he has a very much a practiced kind of, this is how I'm going to appear to people. And you seem to be buying into that very much.
Yeah.
We got along.
Yep.
I don't even remember. You somehow guessed one of the questions that was on the entry quiz.
We were talking. So I was totally
the game
interested.
show.
I was very interested in that you would come all this way. And
I didn't yet know that you knew nothing about pop culture.
Yeah. So, but you had come all this way down, and I thought at first it was a joke that you were just joking that you were going to go on the show, and then you were like, no, I really am. And then it was
trying
like,
to be on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, holy shit, right?
He
is what I
knows a
thought.
lot of
Yeah,
shit
this
about a
guy-
lot of stuff.
This guy's going places.
We came close. We almost made it.
So, but I do remember being interested then because it was like, okay, so what's your strategy? I remember asking you about your strategy and kind of getting into it, and then you were actually really like, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this.
Well, I
and then
knew
this,
about the
like,
structure. I had a friend who had tried out, so I knew like it started off with a written test,
Right.
and then if everybody
So
on
you-
your team.
So just to back up for a second, you had actually passed a test to go. This was
No, you
multiple-
sent an application.
Yeah, there's multiple levels to this, which I was also interested in.
So I think
finding
you
out.
had to send in an application with you and
Yeah.
your friends, right? And if you got selected via the application, then you had to go in and you sat in a room. And we met you before we sat in the room.
Right.
After our application had been selected. You sat in a room with like 30 other teams of 3. And everybody on the team, we don't know for sure, but I think everybody on the team had to get a certain amount right. And then the combined score had to be a certain amount to get selected. And then you get selected and you go into a room, you do like a screen test. And if your chemistry is good, you get put into like a mini tournament, the regional tournament.
You immediately start dating each other.
We did. So we made it to the mini tournament. And then in the second round of the tournament, we lost a Mork and Mindy question that I didn't know the answer to. We mostly lost because of the category selection. Anyway, before we took the written test, we met with you, and you correctly guessed something about Dave Mustaine, a question that ended up being on the test, like who was the lead singer of Megadeth or who left Metallica and started Megadeth. And you said something about, I didn't.
That doesn't sound like a question.
I
I
don't
would
know.
ask.
It wasn't a question. I don't know how it came up.
That's
That's
so
what
weird.
happened. And I
Okay.
was like, I'm beholden to this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
And then I met you again later, and I'm like, oh, that was a mistake.
And you're
This
like,
guy kind of
holy
sucks.
shit, this fucking guy. Is
So
the
then
best.
eventually I moved to New York, and we were in each other's circles. And we realized we're both loathsome people.
And then it happened.
It all happened.
Well, so
Everything
then
happened.
then it was like 2 years or 3 years or longer than that.
It was probably that was like probably like 2003
Yeah,
or
yeah.
2005, and then I
so then
moved
many
in 2008,
years
so
happened,
like 3 years
went
later, I
by, and then Mike and family moved to
New York.
No, you just.
I didn't
it was
have
just
family, I
you
just had a
and
wife.
your wife, yeah. So
I
you
mean, I had
and
a secret family, but you weren't. Why did you say that? Now
Right,
my wife
right.
knows
no,
about.
No, I know. Yeah, because the one thing that if you're married and you have family that you want to do is have another family
Yeah,
that you're
no,
married
the
to.
best thing
Just-
you want to do is
just
move
'cause
to New
of,
York
like-
City with a family where you can't have any fun. Like that's ultimately
And
the
then
thing you
while
want to do.
also being married to a secondary family, which is
My double
super
family,
funny.
yeah.
Because
So, okay. So that's a little backstory on
So that
us
was
and
the
how we got
backstory.
to episode 30. We get along unbelievably well. We you know what?
Yeah. And that was it. And then the next
It's the
thing
foundation of it all.
it's chemistry.
I didn't make the show.
Yep.
And we didn't see each other again until Tim's wedding.
Yeah,
And,
5 years later, and then
few years later.
and then you
And now?
left to North Carolina for a few years, and then came back.
You know what? People don't need to know about that part either.
Why not? You talk about it. Ooh.
I'd rather forget that aspect
Holy
of
shit,
my
everybody.
of
Never-
my
you know what?
life.
Everybody, no worries. He didn't go to North.
So this is the grab bag mailbag, and we got a lot of questions from a lot of different people. Although we got a lot of questions from a handful of people. So some people submitted,
Okay.
tons of questions, right? So Courtsy Anna,
Great. Doesn't
we
matter.
went through this.
Okay, fine.
Anna,
you know what?
Anna?
If you pronounce it Anna, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
I don't know that I feel that way, but I'll give it
The
to
only
you.
difference would be if you were to say like you pronounce David Davide.
So we tried to. Well, I do,
That's
as a matter of fact. So we tried to separate this episode into some categories, but it might get a little loosey goosey, as Pete likes to say. And I was like, Pete, stop saying that. It's a strange phrase that
And I
makes me
said
uncomfortable.
loosey goosey.
So
And
the
then I
first
started
question
crying.
Courtsy Anna asks is about parenting. So we have a little parenting section where she says, "What do you miss most about your pre-dad life?" I'm going to leave that one to you, Pete. What do you think?
Oh man. You know what? Easy. Walking around
Mm-hmm.
like you just don't give a shit.
You know
about
what's
anything.
funny?
Like literally walking around. So there are a handful of times since pre-dad. So pre-dad, there are a handful of times, as like distinct memories I have of walking around with my wife where we didn't have the kids.
Oh, with your wife.
Yeah. And it was good. It was a good memory. Not like a lot of the other ones, which are very,
Most of
very,
those
very
suck.
dark. Yeah. No, this was a really fun one where we were just walking around the city, and we had at that point we had 2 kids, and they were being taken care of by my parents, who took care
So
of them.
this
for
isn't
the
your
first time.
pre-dad life, though.
No, what I'm talking about.
If you have
missing-
kids already, it's not pre-dad.
that's actually a good point. Anyway, just walking around, just honestly,
Just walking around.
yeah, like
Well-
being able to be like, hey, Saturdays and Sundays, the weekends, we would just absolutely crush. We would go. What do you want to do? Wake up. I don't
Do
know.
whatever
What
I
do you wanna
fucking
do?
want. How
Yeah.
about nothing?
What the fuck? No, we
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. We would do everything.
But you could do
We would-
nothing.
but we wouldn't. We
You didn't
would
have to
do
get the
everything.
kids out of the house to
We
burn some
didn't.
energy.
We did everything.
Go to goddamn fucking Coney Island. When I was child free, as
We'd
they
really
say,
go out,
and
yeah.
even wife free, one of my favorite things to do was, and this was when I still lived in Boston after college, was to, like, on a Saturday, I'm gonna go to. I'm dating myself. I'm gonna go to Tower Records. On a Saturday morning, I'm gonna go to Tower Records. I'm gonna listen to some new albums, and maybe I'm gonna buy something new. Just listen to a handful, wander around, do whatever I want. Maybe I'll go to get some lunch, whatever.
Yeah.
Guess what?
I mean, can you imagine just like walking
My kids
around,
can't even go
going
to
eat,
Tower Records. It
being
doesn't
like, you know what?
exist.
What do you want to do after eat? I don't know. Should we
Whatever
go
the
drinking
fuck
somewhere?
I want.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go drinking.
Well, what else should we? Let's find out what other.
What
these
do I
30
miss?
These
So-
people want to do. Great.
Courtsiana.
That's what I miss.
What do I miss most about my pre-dad life? Every fucking thing. That's what it boils down to.
Walking
Then she says,
around.
what's the best part of your dad life besides kids? Nothing. What do you mean besides kids? The only benefit of being a dad is having the kids. I love my kids.
Yeah.
They're great. If I didn't have kids and I was still had like a dad lifestyle, there's fucking
Oh,
nothing
my
there.
God.
What do you mean? I'm tethered. It's
No,
like
you
having a
should be-
shitty dog who sucks.
That's
I'm not
a
saying
bad
a good
one.
dog.
Yeah.
I love dogs. It's like having a shitty dog. You have to go home. You have to be there. What is there?
Best-
I don't
best
understand what
part
that
of-
question even means.
Excuse me. The best part of dad life is looking down on non-dads and being like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, you
when
bitch.
someone
You
complains,
don't understand
you don't
shit.
know
Yeah.
shit. You
I like it.
Stupid son.
You
of a
don't even
bitch.
know what
Oh,
hell is like.
You have 4 kids. Guess what? I have 9.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
that's what you
don't.
do to me all the time.
I know.
You
I
have
know.
2, I have 3.
Yeah,
Guess
exactly.
what?
And I'm like,
Don't blame me for your bad
I can't go."
decisions.
You know what? The best decision I ever made was the ability to look down my nose at other people by having 3 kids and just simply judge away.
I
like
don't
I'm
know that
doing
it's
right
worth
now.
it. I don't know that it's worth it.
I know it's
The best
eating,
decision
it's
I ever
eating me
made-
up inside, and
The best
I hate
decision
myself.
I ever made
and
was
I-
starting this podcast with my friend Pete.
Look at you, you beautiful, beautiful bastard.
Cortiana's last question, although I don't know, maybe she comes back around. She asked a lot of shit. What is one thing you didn't expect / realize would happen when you became a parent?
Oh, what would happen?
What would happen?
For real, for me, the
for
realization
realsies
at 4 months or 5 months.
of your first kid.
Yeah, the realization that so past that first like glow, like I got this, or maybe when it started to go into like, I want to say like 6 months or whatever, it's like, holy shit, this is for really forever. This is for,
right.
this
You
is
were
for
like,
a long time.
You're like,
Holy
that's
fuck.
a fun lark. Let's have a kid.
Yeah,
and then you
yeah, yeah.
realize,
And then you're like, oh,
I'm
I totally
tethered
got
to
this.
this
I'm a cool
human
guy.
being
I'm a
for
cool
the rest of
dad.
my
And
life.
then the kid starts crawling and walking around. You're like, holy
it changes your brain.
shit.
Yeah.
What is about to happen? Oh, 3 years of no sleep? Tight.
Not 3. Forever of no sleep.
No. We taped the other ones. Just taped them down.
All right.
It's just
So
much better.
Bentini80, how many nights is it okay for parents to have a drink? Please say 7. 100%. Look, if you don't drink, that's fine.
It leads
If
to
you
timeouts.
can't drink anymore, that's fine. If you need a drink to take the edge off, that's fine. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation, unless you want to get drunk and then fucking go nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
I drink 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
I'm not
me
gonna
too.
lie. I don't get
Actually-
drunk 7 nights a week.
I take off a couple months just in the year.
Yeah, you
just
do
to
that weird
reset.
January, February, March
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
A lot of people do that.
I don't
but
do
that's not
January,
because
because
you're
that's
worried
insane,
about
but I
your
do-
intake. You're just trying to lose weight.
No, yeah, that and just also give my fucking body a break from drinking 7
Yeah, that would
nights
be a good
week.
idea. I haven't done that yet. I should.
Yeah, yeah.
Little Charmer 80. Would either of you have more kids? Parentheses. I think I know the answer. You do know the answer.
Do you know what? This is gonna fucking
Blow my
really-
mind. You would?
I
would?
So can I just say the difference between having one kid? No, all right. Let me.
I know what
just-
you're saying.
No kid
From
to one
2
kid
to
is
3 and
100.
3 to 4 is no
100%.
difference.
Your
Yeah.
fucking life is upside
hear you.
down. From one kid to 2 kid, you're like, oh, I got this. No. It's another 100% life flipped upside down. Well, you didn't even think there was another 100%. It's you have time.
I know what you're gonna say. I have a counter to it already.
Hold on. Going to 3 kids was like 8%. It was like, I'm going to the park already at 6 o'clock in the morning because I don't
what
know what
changes?
else to.
My life is hell already.
Exactly. And then the next one. But at the end of the day, I mean, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't if I had.
the
more,
question
if I had more
is,
means. Maybe
it's
maybe
not
I would.
about-
I don't know.
It's not about how adding one changes. It's about starting over with one.
I know.
Like
yeah.
you're 5 years in, you're past the diapers, you're past all that shit. Starting over with a baby, no.
Can I say something that's also going to be really annoying to this audience?
I'm
Is
already annoyed.
my son, who's our youngest,
He's
enjoyed.
5.
He's 5. I enjoyed almost that experience better than I enjoyed the first 2, and that's the only.
Because you're a veteran.
Well, that's it, and I feel. Yeah, that's it. I just was like, that's why I think that would not be the only reason. I
So
would
now
do it.
you're like, if I have another one, maybe I'll like that young stage
Yeah, 'cause
or
I
even
know-
more.
well,
yeah, but it
'cause I
takes 2
know
years
what-
before you get to any goods
I know
with a
what I'm
baby,
doing.
or a year
I
and a
know.
half.
No, I know, but all of that being factored in with my youngest, like it was it all seemed to have clicked in a way that it didn't with the first 2. Because the first 2, you're trying to fend them off. You're playing you go from zone to a man on man.
Right.
You don't know what the hell.
I would like to. Would either of you have more kids? I would like to answer for myself for the record. No, I will not.
No, I don't want to have kids. I don't want.
Ginger Ninja 999. I like that name, Ginger Ninja. I assume she's a redheaded ninja warrior.
Yeah.
999. What's the most difficult thing you've encountered about being a stay-at-home dad? I assume that's for me, since you're gainfully employed and I am a stay-at-home dad. The most difficult thing is doing things of any kind. I'm not good at it. I'm not motivated. It's hard to get out of the house.
So when you were single, you just wouldn't do anything like that.
No, when I was single, I didn't have to fucking pack a bag with diapers and wipes and food and snacks
Okay.
and milk and load somebody in
Right.
a car seat to go grocery shopping.
right.
And I don't have to. If I was single, I'm not bringing someone to a playground to watch them swing.
But would you
if I'm
just-
single, I'm getting on the swings myself and having the time of my life.
Yeah, get those Gansets. But what would you just stay home and watch? Like, would you just like watch TV all the time or what? I mean,
Yeah,
I would
look,
watch TV a lot. But
Sure,
not, but I
not
wouldn't-
all the time. I just talked about how I would go to Tower Records and
Yeah,
listen to
that's
music.
true.
But when I was
Tower
single by myself, yeah, I could if I wanted to. I didn't have to worry
I
about a
could do
kid
whatever
going
I
stir
wanted.
crazy. Exactly.
You did whatever I wanted.
It's difficult for me because being a stay-at-home dad is not my choice, right? I would rather have a job, and it's not like me and my wife were like, all right, I'll work and you be a stay-at-home dad. Like, I want to have a job we both do at this point. So it's not necessarily intentional.
If you got a job, would Mom and Barry continue to have her job?
Yeah, at least for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we need the income and we need the
But
money.
meaning from like she's cool with working as well? Or
She likes working. She
Okay.
likes having
Yeah,
a job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know,
Yeah.
whether if it was within our means for us to kind of find some kind of flexibility with our jobs, maybe.
Yeah.
But she would much prefer to be home with the kids than I would.
I see.
Christina and Valentine said, "Do you regret having more than one kid?" I do think so. I had a 5-year gap between my first and my second, and having 5 years of just one kid and then suddenly having two is jarring. But I love my second kid so much that it's like I could never say regret. Like, But yeah, I mean, my life with one kid was a lot easier, and sometimes I'm like, I kind of wish we had stopped. But I love my second kid so much, I would never think that.
Zero regret. No, I love having three. I think
you know, I was a little bit more honest than you. Stanford
No,
Mommy,
no.
dad guilt. Does it exist? I think it exists. I think it's a little bit different, right? My guilt is more like if I fly off the handle or if I'm not doing enough or I'm being a dick to my kids, I feel bad about how I behave towards them. Mom guilt, I think, is kind of a little bit of a different beast
so
because of society.
for me, it's a little different. I really I have put myself in a very stupid position, which is as a single income provider, which is the worst thing you could possibly be.
I agree.
At this time, all I think about is just making sure that
they have enough.
I can.
Right. So you're guilty about like I'm not working enough. I'm not bringing enough home.
Imagine
how I feel. I'm unemployed.
No, I know.
I'm feeling that way. Yeah, I think there's mom guilt, there's dad guilt, but it's on different lines.
No, but I think for me, it definitely is the provider concept is as being a dad is heavy.
The provider concept.
Yeah, dad is provider.
Chauvinist. Okay, so now we guess some people ask for some advice.
I'm a huge chauvinist.
Bentini80, again, she is all over.
Oh my God, yes.
A lot of questions.
Let's hear it.
Says, what's the best piece of advice for new parents?
You have this locked down.
Do I?
Solid. Yes. Do not join any racist groups.
That's true. Don't join racist groups.
You've said that more than one time.
That's a great piece of advice for whether you're a parent or not. You didn't get it. You were like,
now I do.
It seems like a good idea, but not when you're a new parent. It doesn't. My pest piece of advice for my pest piece of advice for new parents, I think, is calm down. Right? Like, parents have been having kids. People have been having kids for thousands of years, and they've survived. Like, we get so anxious over so much shit, right? Oh, my God, I got to fucking make sure my kid is eating. Guess what?
Our next episode is about how
parents used to parent versus us. And I think they were less anxious than we are,
yep,
right?
Exactly.
So, like, if you're worried about whether your kid is eating enough, guess what? Your kid's not fucking going to starve. If you're worried about, it's taking too long to potty train my kid. The odds of your kid being in a diaper in high school are fucking slim. It's going to happen, right? It might not happen at the timetable you want, but it's going to happen. Like, I think we get worked up about competing and milestones, and I think we just need to calm down.
Are you pro diaper in high school or are you con diaper?
I'm saying it's not going to happen. I'm saying we get really nervous, like, is our kid going to be this kid who can't do this? When the kid is 2 or 3 or 5, most of that shit is going to work itself out.
Also, if you are a kid who's in high school and you have a diaper, just lean into it. Drink a lot of beer.
Man.
Hey,
start an Instagram channel.
Yeah, I'm a crazy guy.
You're like John Belushi.
Like, wow, that guy really.
Is it John Belushi?
That guy is really peeing his pants.
John Belushi? No, Jim is his shitty brother. John is the original.
Yeah.
This guy, fucking Nate the millennial, thinks Jim Belushi is the fucking key Belushi. K9. He's like, K9 is the key text for the Belushi family. You know what, Nate?
You forgot his fucking name.
No, I was right. I just was questioning myself. All right. Best way to deal with a toddler tantrum in public, Bentini80 again.
Freak the fuck out on the child. Just start immediately threatening them physically.
You are
That's
being
the best
facetious.
way to deal with it.
My
because
favorite
they'll
way.
Respond to it perfectly.
My favorite way is just to fucking walk away.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now you're in the fucking, there's a spotlight on you in the middle of the aisle of Target, and I walked over to the fucking other aisle of Target. I don't know, what are the aisles called? Toy aisle. I went into the vintage t-shirt aisle to get one of my hot ass t-shirts that everybody likes so much.
Boy.
And Pete hates. Guess what? Now you're standing there alone, throwing a fit. They will follow you.
Right.
But I do think cold shoulder it.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Walk away.
Let them,
I love it.
Yeah,
let them fucking peter
them.
out. Look, you got to deal with some busybodies, as they say. Do they still say that this day and age? Busybodies who might be like, oh, you're being a shitty parent. You know what?
No,
Fuck you,
you're
Karen.
not.
You don't know my life.
I mean, you kind of do, and you sort of nailed me, Karen. But at the same time, just go ask for the manager or something.
So Blitzifers_human has an interesting question here. What do you do when the other parent, I assume meaning your spouse, is stressed about the same thing? Try and be positive? I deal with like so Mom and Buried and I, at Mom and Buried Instagram, has her own following. We're under a lot of stress right now. Like, I'm unemployed. We don't have enough income. We have a lot of issues where our kids have, my eldest son has ADHD. My youngest has a speech delay. She's going back to work. She has MS. We got a lot of shit going on. Yeah, you try to support each other and be positive. But I think when you're both stressed about the same thing, that can be problematic because you're trying to lean on each other.
Right.
But when you're both overwhelmed, that can be a tough thing to do. I don't know if you have any advice on this one, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to be more just calm and, like take things in stride. Like big things big things don't stress me out. Even like, so when you say when the other parent is stressed out about the same thing, I'm assuming you're talking about the bigger things. Like you're talking about, not like is the kid going to eat or not, or like that.
Oh, like what do
dinner.
we do about the school play this week? How are we going to manage it?
How
Oh, that'll be fine.
Or, yeah, everything is like, oh, we got it. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's a tightrope because sometimes can be just kind of being like, yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
But ultimately, I'm always just kind of more like we'll figure it out.
You don't have any. What you're saying is you don't have any.
Thing
to contribute to this
a lot of
question,
the time,
I think is what I'm gathering.
A lot of the time, I'm like, sorry, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
I guess,
right. It's not even on your radar.
Fine.
But he's saying when you're stressed about the same thing.
Yeah,
you're saying I'm not stressed about the same things as her.
That's not true. So we've had some like our house was destroyed.
Yeah,
not
I remember.
Too long ago.
Can I mention the cause of it?
No, but it was fucking gnarly, and we basically, I had to, contain my wife from like losing
right. Well, that's the trouble, right? You're both stressed, and you gotta you're both stressed about the same thing, and one of you is reacting more strongly than the other. How do you handle that?
That's more what I was talking about.
I deal with this with my wife, where like. She stresses out and she wants to dump her stress on me. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to hold my stress at bay. And when she dumps it on me, like that's a stress relief for her. Yeah. But all it does is make it worse for me.
Yeah. No,
it's just a killer cycle.
I'm saying that's my role.
Right. It's to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The punching bag. It's my role too, but sometimes it's not. I can't handle it. Sometimes it's too much. So what we're saying, Blitzifers_human, is we don't know. You're fucked.
Yeah.
James Larson 470, hardest part of parenting. That's a very broad question. But I'm going to say philosophically, I think the hardest thing about parenting for me is maintaining consistency. I feel like being consistent with your kids, whether it's bedtime, whether it's screen time, whether it's how you handle their discipline, all that stuff. If you have a track record of kind of doing the same thing all the time with all the kids, that goes a long way, and they expect it, and them having the security of knowing what to expect is great. If sometimes you let them co-sleep and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you give them screen time, sometimes you don't, all that shit is all over the place. That causes problems. I'm not consistent at all, which is where the root of a lot of my problems are.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for me. Is I feel like if we standardized how we treat everything and we responded to everything the same every time, we'd be in great shape. But I struggle with that. What about you?
I think it's so similar but a little bit different. I think the hardest part for me is being on the same page as my wife when it comes to things like that. So, she'll look at a situation differently, and in some cases, I feel that it tends to like depend. So if someone's not eating, it's like
you see shades of gray.
No, other way around. I'm more black and white, and I feel that my wife's more shades of gray. So someone's acting, I'm a big kind of like, hey, if you're like being a jerk, then you're gonna get treated like a jerk kind of thing. Whereas my wife will be like, well, she's tired or he's tired, so don't go easy on them. And I'm like, well,
same with me.
How are we gonna know?
Right.
Every time
you're not
that
gonna know.
Sometimes it's okay, and I'll have come home.
Sometimes
and
it's their fault, and sometimes it's yours, and you're never gonna know.
And I'll never know. And then the other thing that's hard about parenting with someone else is sometimes they've already snapped and you haven't. You just don't even know. That's really for me the hardest part is just understanding that the consistency thing I got down.
But
I'm
the
at a level
dynamic
8.
with your spouse,
I'm
the
always at a
co-parenting
level
is difficult for you.
I'm always kind of like a mildly grumpy,
Even keel,
mildly grumpy,
steamy.
I don't like that part. It's annoying, and I'm working. Actually, that's kind of something I'm working on.
So, Mrs. Thompson, which is 3M Mrs. Thompson. Any potty training tips? You know what? No, my toddler shit on the floor
Consistency.
a couple of days ago.
Yeah, you gotta.
He shit on the floor a couple of days ago. So no, I don't have any tips. I'm trying to get a handle on it. We were a little delayed with him because of the speech stuff and other stuff that we had going on.
Yeah.
But now I'm definitely like every time I put him on there, I'm like, let's fucking just jam this out, my man.
Yeah,
Consistency is important with that.
Consistency is key. I think if the second they have a sign for potty, you sit there.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is sometimes they'll be dancing or whatever. They'll like be grabbing their crotch, and then you're like, okay, let's go to the potty, and then they'll be like, I don't have to go.
I don't even give a shit about number one. It's number two I'm concerned about. Number one we
like,
got down pat. It's number two where.
And sometimes there's like times like. There'll be times during the day where that they'll go behind the curtain. The kid will just like walk
they're ashamed
somewhere,
by their bowels.
and you're like, no. If you're
Nate is like that. Sometimes he gets ashamed by his bowels.
Yeah, well, Nate, that's what Nate does sometimes. Nate will sometimes
hide
go
behind the curtain
over there and just start.
So Abalash 18
with it.
said, "Do you like the age gap between your kids? What's the ideal age gap for siblings?" So you have more of a standard age gap, where you have.
So my two girls are 2.5 years apart,
And then your
and then it's 5 years between.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's 8 and 5.
So
it's
3 and
yeah,
a
but it's
half.
3 between your next two kids.
Yeah, 3.5.
I have a 9. He'll be 9 in 3 weeks, and a 3.5-year-old. So that's a 5.5 year gap, which is a little bit less typical. Mostly, it's like 2 or 3 years between your kids.
I'll say this. If you can communicate to one of your kids while you have a brand new baby, that's a big difference.
That was huge.
That's
what
a
I'm
big
saying.
one.
Like
if you can be like, if talking to a 2-year-old is way
the
different.
self-sufficiency of having a 5-year-old when a baby was around.
Can you please go and
he
do
can
this,
understand.
and
Go
he
do
can
this. Go watch
this.
TV.
Yeah,
go whatever.
yeah,
We gotta
yeah,
change the baby or
yeah,
do whatever. Huge.
That's
the
really
challenge
hard.
is
that was
when
really
that
hard.
kid is in college.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a 13-year-old or and I'm still you're just behind, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're. I did like the age gap. The rivalry is starting to rear its head now that there's like the 3.5-year-old is old enough now that
he can wrestle.
He wants appreciation. He wants more attention. He's arguing for attention. Same toys, video games. He can wrestle, all that stuff. I don't know if there's an ideal. It's different for everybody.
I would being able to communicate in a way without having to pick them, like if they could walk and be able to dress themselves.
It's big,
do all that stuff
but
key.
you still didn't do that though. You didn't have a 5-year gap in order to benefit from that.
No, but my oldest was able to take care of.
Well, you have 3, so you have other problems.
Yeah,
Meglin Jensen says she tore her ACL 2 weeks ago and is having surgery soon, and she has 2 kids, and it sucks. Any injuries for you with kids? I haven't had any. My wife twisted her ankle really badly 2 years ago, and then last year did the same thing at like a trampoline park with my kids. Was on crutches both times.
Shit.
Was in a boot for one of them.
Yeah.
And that's very problematic. I was still working at the time, so like her dealing with the kids, tough. Has it happened to you?
Yeah, I have not been injured, except for, of course, when I slept on my shoulder and I tore my ACL.
You're over
or
40.
something.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I just like immediately like just destroyed my shoulder by sleeping on it. Cool. No, but my wife. Yeah, again, my wife had some issues.
My wife
with her foot is hobbling around.
It's not easy to handle kids,
Oh, my
especially if
God.
they're young. I don't know, Meglin Jensen. I don't know how young your 2 kids are.
But
But
also
dealing with a toddler when
oh
you're,
my God, it's so
you can't
horrible.
keep up with that
and
kid
then,
at this
and
point.
then also having to deal with just the whole home situation is tough when you're at work.
Just having kids in general sucks,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
you're injured or not. Smell so. Are Doritos an acceptable toddler dinner on occasion? 100%.
100%.
Fed is best. Hashtag fed is best.
You keep saying that. I think it's back is best when you put your when you put a baby to bed. It's back is
No,
best.
but
fed is
there
best.
can't be 2. Fed is best is about if there's
Fed
an
is like,
argument
well,
over
what if
whether
they
you
eat-
no.
what if
Listen
they
to me.
eat, like,
You're not on social
sawdust?
media. It's a hashtag.
oh my God.
It's when people argue over whether you should breastfeed or bottle feed. The people who are like, "Fuck you," it doesn't matter as long as the kid is eating. Hashtag Fed is
Yeah,
best.
but I think that's meant
It's
for...
also if
that's-
somebody's a Roger Federer fan, Fed
Versus
is best.
Nadal.
Exactly.
Loves the banking.
But
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah, the Fed
yeah.
is the best. Alan
Fed,
Greenspan.
Yeah, exactly. Really? No,
Look, he was my favorite. I don't know where you stand.
I stand firmly. So, but I think the Fed is best is specifically about bottle versus
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding, yeah.
Yeah. But you said you didn't know what it was.
But that's different from
yeah, it
Doritos.
was a fucking
That's different
joke.
from
It was a
Doritos.
goddamn joke. As long as the
Fucking
kid is
idiot.
eating, who cares?
God damn
Jesus
you.
Christ.
Feed your kids
Mr.
Doritos.
fucking literal. All right, here's Sarge. OG Sarge, the legend. What do you do when your kid is overly sick and won't take the meds the doc prescribes? He wants to be a good dad, but he doesn't want to seem like he's forcing meds down his kid's throat like he's in a psych ward, like he's fucking Nurse Ratchet.
Shit. Well, listen. If they have like antibiotics, or rarely or hopefully they won't prescribe antibiotics too often. But if they do, and your kid's super sick, they have to take it, right? And so sometimes those pills can be big, and you just got to be like,
Nah, hey, Sarge, get a suppository and fucking man up, all right?
just get some gloves.
You know what? If you need to show the kid how it's done,
Exactly.
get a suppository
and just go to YouTube
and
pull
be
up-
like,
pull up
here
some
it is,
YouTube
and this is what
videos
you're going
and
to
be
do
like,
next.
Here's your choices.
Or otherwise, you hold the kid's nose and you pour it down. Look, it's going to be a mess. It's going to happen. You do it 10 times and you get a little. You do a full thing 10 times, and they get a tiny little bit of it every time,
Well,
and it's
first
a
of all,
nightmare, and it sucks. some
Most
people put it in
prescription
a
for
pacifier
kids-
and poke a hole in it.
Most prescription for kids are like liquid. However, once your kid starts getting older, it can come in pill form, and if they're not used to taking pills, it takes a long time to get your
Treat
kid
them like dogs. You grind it up, you put it in their food, and then they don't eat their food, and then you get angry, and then the kid is still sick, and it's just infuriating.
and then they're both angry, and they're sick, and
And
you're
then the
angry.
dog eat it, and then the dog is eating the kid's medicine, and then you're like, is this a problem? I don't know, as long as it's not chocolate.
Why is the spider legs coming out of my dog's mouth?
Spider legs?
Yeah, the thing. Look it up.
We'll get into that later. All right, so Sarge also wants to know, what age do kids give up naps? Can I say my 3.5-year-old, he won't nap, but he still needs a nap. So, like, I can't nap him every day. Today, I put him in his crib, because it used to be a day bed, and we put the crib thing back up, and now he just climbs out of it. He wouldn't take the nap, except at 5 o'clock every day, he fucking passes out. And when your kid goes to bed at 5, it fucks you because he's going to sleep and
No,
he'll be
but
up
you-
later.
you-
No, you wake him up.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You keep him up, and you put him to bed at 6 o'clock.
100%. No, he will not sleep through the night. He'll get up at 3, and he'll be up. He will be up.
What a son of a bitch.
So he still needs a nap. He won't take it anymore. We're in the transition phase. Every kid is different. Some people say their kid gives up a nap
So
at
what
2.
time? What time does he go to bed?
8.
Oh my god.
He still gets up at 6 every day.
Fucking hell.
Try to give him that. So we've
So it's
shifted
6
to
it's
every
6
other
and
day.
5, so you put him to bed at 6, he'll get up at 5?
No, we put him to bed. Put him to bed at fucking 6. He'll get up at 2 in the morning. We put him to bed at 8. He gets up at 6.
Oh my god. God
But
damn it.
so we've gotten rid of the nap, except for like we try to do the every other day thing.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to get him to nap. He's too much of a fucking person, right? He's like,
Yep.
I'm gonna do what I want. He climbs out of the crib. He's uncontrollable. You try to like put him down and leave him and lock the door. That doesn't work.
Yep.
And then but he's still too tired to really function without a nap at least 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And he's a monster by the end of the day. It really sucks. So I don't know, Sarge. I don't got nothing for you. You know what? I'm not. This is an advice podcast, Sarge.
Yeah.
You know better. You've been listening from
Yeah.
day one.
What-
All right. So
Yeah.
a couple of New York City questions. Sarah Lee Contreras, be honest. Do you think you're cooler than everyone else because you live in New York City? Yes.
Definitely. You do.
100%.
Yeah.
We are cooler.
Yeah.
I'm drowning in debt, and it has been horrible for my family. But yeah, there's a certain cachet that comes with living in New York and in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
In fact, where do you live, Sarah Lee?
It's a good point.
It
point.
is a good point. Bentini 80, how often do you run into celebs in New York City? Not often. It's a big city.
Rarely.
I ran into, who was the older sister on Roseanne?
Oh.
Darlene?
Yeah. No, the older sister. Oh.
Yeah. Becky?
Do you mean Becky?
Yeah.
Wait, Roseanne's sister?
Darlene was the cool sister, the sarcastic one. Becky was the older one. Yeah. So the original Becky, not the one who ended up being on Scrubs. The original Becky. I ran into her well past her acting career.
Yeah.
Before the Roseanne reboot at the Gowanus Yacht Club. She was giving like psychic readings. No one knew who she was. I recognized her.
Yeah.
I ran into Harvey Keitel in an elevator. Every once in a while, I was at a couple of Broadway shows where you see Annette Bening like in the stands. I don't know, not a ton.
Oh my God! You know the most random one? I think I saw Casey Neistat one time.
He's a YouTube guy. That doesn't count.
I know. I just walked.
I'm depressed that I even know who that was.
There you go.
If you did, Little Charmer 80. If you didn't live in New York City, where would you choose? Is money an object? I don't know. Hawaii.
I don't know.
I've never been. Have you been to Hawaii?
No, I haven't. My sister lived there though, but I haven't.
I like Philadelphia. I'm an East Coast guy. I like Philly.
Philly's good.
I visited Paris once. I enjoyed it. I don't know that I could live overseas.
I could live in Barcelona all day.
I've only been there for like a half a day.
It's so fun.
I don't know. Anything, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Do your kids, Bentini 80, do your kids go to private or public schools? Public.
Fucking public.
100%. I mean, come on.
We don't have time for this.
All right. So we got a couple of questions that were for each of us, right? So I want to get into this one real quick. Check your kids at the door. Funny meme account. Check them out. Instagram. Do you get annoyed Mom and Buried is riding your coattails on Instagram? Now.
Oh my God! Check your kids at the door. That's like a fucking softball.
Do I get annoyed that Mom and Buried is riding my coattails? No. You know what? I'm proud that she has carved out her own little corner of the web. What I get annoyed at, is when my friends Nate and Pete here are like, "Wow, what is she? Almost 40,000 in just 6 months. Yeah, guess what?
Yeah,
I got double that, and all my followers are going over to her." Right? Guess what? How about this? She doesn't take my last name when we get married, but she takes fucking Buried in a split second.
Ooh.
Right?
You know what's
Mom and Buried? Fuck Mike.
Yeah.
She does. That's how we have 2 kids.
Bada boom. That feels
so
pretty aggro.
You know what? To answer that, no, I don't. And I'm going to strike the rest of that from the record.
Yeah. No. Well.
Little Charmer 80. Have any crazy fans tried to stalk Mike? No. I've been recognized maybe 3 or 4 times. Twice locally, which is weird because
internationally,
a lot of people don't understand, like they don't necessarily see that I'm in Brooklyn or they don't check my bio or whatever. So I get a lot of questions like, where are you from? And I'm always surprised, like you can just look and it says Brooklyn or New York. Somebody in the playground of the Chimenti family, which is Jimmy and Felicia, they have recognized me in public and they are probably as close as it gets to stalkers. It's fairly unsettling.
Okay.
They're all up in my grill all the time.
Are those your only friends that you have?
They're not friends, but yes. They're not actually friends, but yes. I got recognized once in Pennsylvania when I was on vacation and once in D.C., but the person in D.C. didn't tell me about it till after the fact, which is almost more weird.
I saw you.
But I've never been stalked.
You were eating ice cream.
You looked good. Missed connection. All right, so the Mrs. Mommy says, how did you come up with the name Dad and Buried besides the obvious? There is no besides the obvious. It's just the obvious. It's a play on Dead and Buried.
Yeah.
Because I have kids and it kills your social life. I don't remember.
But when did you start Dad and Buried?
2010.
When?
A few months before my first kid was born.
Before your kid was born? Cause
like the June or July before he was born.
You had the
and I was like, the site I had been writing for was dying. And it was like, I'm going to write something honest about parenting. And I'm going to maintain the sense of humor that I've always had. And you know, what's a pun that works? And I was like, dead man walking. I was thinking of shit like that, and I came up with Dad and Buried, and it was fucking genius. And it still works.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Nate likes it.
Wonderful.
All right.
I love this next one.
I love this next one from Sarge. Does Pete do any of the work? I mean, if he doesn't have social media, then you review all the comments. You're goddamn right. I review all the comments. I transcribe them all because you can't copy and paste. I'm the talent. I bring all the followers because you don't have social. What do you do, Pete?
Let's see. What do I do? I think I have put this whole thing together. So all the equipment, all the space, the concept. What else did I do? Yeah, everything. Everything except
all the intangibles.
Everything except for the followers.
And the entertainment.
What I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Pete, here's a handful of questions for you. One from Go Outside Kids.
Nate does the audio, of course, and is our producer.
Yeah, Nate does everything that actually matters. I'm the talent, and Pete is
I'm the organizer.
The organizer. You're a community organizer like Barack Obama.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go outside, kids ask. Why doesn't Pete have an accent?
Well, it's been a long
Oh,
time.
my God.
And ever since I left, I was a wee lad growing up in
You're
London.
from Ireland now?
Yeah. I don't, because my parents are
Answer the question.
Why don't I have an accent? Because why does Madonna have an accent? I'm going to come back with a question.
Okay. Little Charmer 80 says,
Accents
has
are
Pete
weird,
been to many other
and
places in the UK besides London?
Yeah, I've been to actually, that's a good question. Have I been to other places in the UK besides?
Many other places.
Not a ton. So I lived in London for 18 years, or no, 25 years, and then but never really.
25 years?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You went to school here. That's 4 years out of that. You weren't there until
But
you
that
were
was
30.
That was my home.
All right.
So it was,
Congratulations,
yeah.
man.
I mean, that's where I go when I went home. I would go to London.
So why don't you have an accent?
Because fuck you, that's why.
Check your kids at the door says, what is Pete's favorite beer?
Ooh. That's a good question. I like Pilsner, but I like Pilsner like a crisp, 6-point crisp. Lagunitas Pils.
Fucking Pilsners. Get the fuck out of here. They all taste the same.
You know what does taste all the same is fucking anything that's an IPA.
Do you eat your food with vinegar?
Horrible. Chips of it? Yeah. No, not really.
You know
But
what I do? Chips and fucking a little malt vinegar?
yeah,
I'll smash that right now down my gullet.
It can be good.
How long have you been married, Little Charmer 80 wants to know?
Me? I've been almost 15 this coming year.
15 years.
2020 will be 15.
Why did you grow up in the UK, though?
And what school did I go to? Why? So my dad was, all right, so here's what happened. So my dad was in sales for a technology computer company back in the day. And they offered a job to my dad's boss.
And your dad just got dragged along with them.
Nope. The guy didn't take it. So
your dad got your dad's boss job.
And it was supposed to be for 18 months.
And then it became 25
but
years.
he's not very good at understanding how things work.
Well,
so
you know
it
what?
ended up being 25
The
years.
British typically aren't.
But he's not British. So my mom and my dad are both American.
I choose to think of your parents as British.
But I did.
That's why you're so boring. Pop culture rapid fire. All right.
Yeah. Here we go.
Greenstone 920. What guilty pleasure garbage TV shows do you like to watch when the kids aren't around? I know you like to watch like Below Deck.
I don't watch
reality
that shit.
shows.
I do
That's your
not
wife.
watch-
I don't
yeah,
watch guilty pleasure shit.
I don't
All
watch that
quality for me all the time.
That's not true either.
100%.
No. You
What's my
watch
trash?
Lots of garbage.
Is Glow on Netflix guilty pleasure? I don't think so.
Yeah.
The Veronica Mars reboot? I don't think so.
yeah,
These are like
that's-
the lesser things that I watch.
The lesser thing.
The lesser things. Favorite film, Pete?
I don't know.
Nate. Nate's got a favorite film.
Oh, yeah.
Our producer, Nate. He
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
talking about it. Every week he brings it up.
Yeah.
That is not true.
It's 100% true.
You guys drag it out of me. It's the thing.
It's the thing.
The John Carpenter
original
version of The Thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the original Howard Hawks Thing from Another Place. Is that what it's
You know what? You know what's still? I'm Rushmore still in the top.
Rushmore is number one.
No, it's in the top. It's in the top. But
It's
it
in the-
definitely
it's in the
the
top.
one I can think of right now. But Rushmore's are great.
So when Kerry Woodhouse says favorite comedy movies, would you say Rushmore is one of them?
Absolutely.
Caddyshack?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Love
but I mean, like
Caddyshack.
comedy, like
Flirting with Disaster is a hidden gem.
I don't know.
One of my favorite comedy movies. I would
seen
check
that.
it out. David O. Russell. Most famous person you've ever met? I've met John Travolta. I've met Harvey Keitel.
Do you know this is kind of weird.
Britt Daniel I've met, lead singer of Spoon.
I met Gwyneth Paltrow on September 11th, and we talked for like
Actual September
and-
11th or
and-
like September 11th, 2007?
September 11th, 2001.
Why?
And we talked for like 20 minutes.
Before or after?
After.
What'd you
obviously.
talk about?
What the fuck was going on, and if everything was okay. what
This
was
sounds like
happening.
a lie to me.
No, it's not.
This is true? How'd she look?
Awesome. And but I wasn't really looking. We were all kind of in a daze.
Where
but,
were you?
in the Greenwich Village.
At a bar?
Nope, on the street. We were walking, and my friend,
And she was like, let me ask this British guy what's going on.
No, my friend's wife happened to know her, sort of like not like well, but just happened to know her, and everyone,
so you bumped into your
first of all,
friend who was with...
everyone was on the street that day. It was
I
not so-
remember. I wasn't here. I was in Boston.
It's awesome. We're getting into this, and just so happened that she was there, and we were talking, and I can't even remember what we were talking about, other than just talking about general.
But you remember
is
she looked
everyone
good.
vegan? I mean, she looked unbelievably good. Yeah.
Favorite book?
Wait, mine's Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Well, did he punch you?
Yes.
He did.
No.
Well, that would be quite a wonderful thing to happen. Favorite book? Anybody? Favorite book?
Lord of the Flies.
Oh my God.
So good.
I love
From here.
Crime
to
and Punishment
Eternity.
and the Brothers Karamazov. I'm a big Dostoevsky guy, which is absurd, but it's true. They're much easier to read than you actually think. I also really like The Toy Collector by James Gunn, who went on to do the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but it's not for everybody. So be careful.
Okay.
I recommended it to a friend, and he read it, and he was like, be careful who you recommend that to, because it's
Iron
a little
Banks,
bit
the Wasp Factory.
depraved.
Yeah.
I have read The Wasp Factory.
Yeah.
Favorite band?
Well, I'm a Cash man myself.
Johnny Cash?
Yes.
It's not a band.
I know. Well, it doesn't matter.
It does
The
matter.
fuck
The
are you
question was
talking
favorite
about?
band, not favorite artist.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna say favorite artist is Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash is really your favorite
Yeah,
artist?
it's my
I don't
go-to.
believe that for a second.
It
Although,
is.
come to think of it, I've never heard you listen to any music.
There you go. And so therefore, The Great Illusion is
My
what's
favorite
fun.
current band, I talk about them all the time, is Spoon. I love Radiohead, the Beatles, Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
I mean, those are
I
all
love lots of
standards.
shit.
Those are all.
Well,
those
is
are
Spoon a
standards.
standard?
Not Spoon. Not Spoon. But
you, Nate. I
everything else
appreciate
is. Everything else is a very.
First
good
record you bought, I remember the first record I stole, I think was Milli Vanilli.
I think.
Or it
who
may have
did I
been Belle
buy?
Biv
I bought
DeVoe.
like the Fat Boys.
Fat Boys.
I think so. Do you remember the Fat Boys?
I do remember
Let's
Disorderlies.
twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I thinking?
So
don't know.
I got for Christmas
But I had an older brother, so I was always listening to like
Cool
whatever
stuff.
Beastie Boy. Yeah, I bought.
Yeah.
But the first
Fat Boys Beast, but you only listen to boys band.
yeah.
When I was in 1990, when I was a freshman in high school, I got my first stereo, a compact stereo. I had a fucking turntable on the top,
Yep.
dual cassette players, and a fucking CD player. And I got 3 discs.
Oh,
I got
CD
3
player.
discs. Paula Abdul, Straight Up, or
Yep.
whatever that fucking album was.
Yep.
Billy Joel, The Bridge, which has Downeaster Alexa, and I think We Didn't Start the Fire. I have no idea.
Okay.
And Temple of the Dog, which has 2 good songs on it, Hunger Strike and Say Hello to Heaven. But I was a big Pearl Jam guy, and I loved Eddie Vedder, and the only song on the album that he was actually like really on was Hunger Strike.
Great.
Anyway, those are the
Wow.
first 3 discs I remember.
I
I had some
don't worry, everyone.
Synchronicity.
I wrote all that down.
I had some
so
Police
if
records.
you need any, I'll just. be able
Sesame
to tell
Street
you.
or Barney? I never watched Barney. Did you?
No, never. Fuck Barney.
I
Sesame
was a
Street.
big Barney guy.
You were a big Barney guy? You look a little bit like Barney.
Oh,
Wow.
ouch.
What a dick.
You know what? Fuck
Se-
this.
That's from Sonia.
yeah. All of a sudden, our mics go down. So Sesame Street all the way. Come on, Barney.
Yeah, Sesame
Fuck
Street's
outta
a
here.
classic.
Fuck
Barney's
outta here.
nonsense.
Barney is like insipid.
Yes,
Have you ever seen
obviously.
it? When
Yes,
it's like,
I've seen clips. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So this is that was from Sonia Colorado Art Mom, who also asked Batman or Superman. What do you guys got?
I'm more of a Batman guy myself.
Batman is
Oh,
not
shut
super.
up.
He doesn't have superpowers.
So
He's just fucking rich. It's like thinking Donald Trump is your favorite superhero. It doesn't make any sense.
listen to me.
Superman is
You
the best
son of a
superhero of
bitch.
all time.
Listen to me, you son of a bitch.
Ooh.
Iron Man is also.
That's not the
Not-
fucking question. Iron Man makes. You're right.
okay.
You're right. But he
Oh, I
makes
know
some
I'm right.
special shit. It seems super. Good point though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Iron, but I didn't say
Okay.
Iron Man is. But nobody says Iron Man's better than
So,
Superman.
get off.
It
your
goes
stupid
Superman,
fucking high horse.
Spider-Man, and then everyone else.
Get off your fucking high horse.
I don't have a high horse.
And get right back down to the shit in which you just landed yourself in by ape shitting yourself.
But you brought up
first of all, no
Iron
one
Man out
needed
of
to hear
nowhere.
you scream into the mic.
Everyone needed to hear it.
Batman, Superman. No one gives a shit that much. Batman is just. Wait, first of all,
I will concede that Sonia
Batman-
Colorado Art Mom did not say who's your favorite superhero. She said, "Who do you prefer, Batman or Superman?"
Batman. Is
I prefer
way
Superman.
Cooler than.
He
and-
is not cooler. He has been.
I'm sorry. Some guy just comes to Earth and just has
Wow,
all these
I
amazing
thought you were
powers.
stopping at the first half of
That
that
is
sentence, and
amazing.
I was like, "Yeah, it is. Does sound pretty
Superman
cool."
had everything given to him on a silver platter.
Exactly.
Did he? His entire planet and
inclu-
family was destroyed.
Including
How
the
is that
fortress,
better?
Including
How is
the
that a silver
fortress of-
platter?
Batman.
It's fucking genocide. No, Batman's parents were killed, which he was an orphan. What happens to everybody?
Oh, but don't worry, Batman, because here's every voice memo we've ever recorded.
hey, Batman!
crystal.
Here's $1 billion. You never have to worry. It's fucking white privilege. Guess what? You run the world,
You know
and
what?
you always will,
Well,
despite your
Alfred-
angst.
He's
Alfred-
also a scientist.
He's not a scientist. He's a detective.
Alfred's been
and
through
it's
a lot.
barely
And
represented.
by the way, there's an Alfred series coming up.
Batman has Batman has a butler. It's fucking nonsense. Superman is so much better. I'm not gonna deny that Batman has had
Holy shit.
the better recent movies.
No one gives a shit. Let's move on.
Everybody gives a shit.
Right.
God damn it.
God damn it.
What would your kids have been named if they were the opposite sex? Same fucking
Ooh.
names, no matter what.
I think Greg and Steve. Like
We
they are
were
right
gonna
now.
name our kid Madeline if we had a girl.
Okay. We had a boy name, but then we named our boy that name, so I don't.
My
have,
boy.
I don't have another name.
Cocktail of choice. Beer
Oh.
or bourbon for me. If it's talking a cocktail, I don't really like old fashions. Bourbon doesn't do great with like cocktails. There's not a lot of options.
I can crush many a vodka soda with a little lime.
I could crush that too,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'd rather have something good.
No, that's very good. You know why? Because you can go for a long time with.
That's
with
what
that
she said.
concoction.
Toilet paper, over or under? If it's under, unsubscribe.
I don't really care.
Why
Not
would
really.
you? No,
If it's there, I'm happy. How about
God,
that?
you were such a
How about
fucking
that?
jerk.
Am I? How about
Bettini
I'm
80.
positive?
Concert and vacation on your bucket list. I've seen most of the bands that I want to see in concert. I saw fucking Led Zeppelin. I saw Jimmy Page
Yeah.
with the Black Crowes, and they just played a bunch of Led Zeppelin deep cuts. It was fucking legit.
Yeah.
Chris Robinson fucking nailed it. I mean, the Beatles. Obviously, this is impossible. I'd like to see Vampire Weekend.
But concert, I don't.
I'd like to see the Police. I
don't know.
missed the Police when they came back for their kind of reunion thing at like Fenway and stuff. I missed that. I'd be into that.
I saw it at
Vacation.
MSG.
I want to go to like
But vacation,
Fiji
concert, yeah.
or like one of those like hardcore, like tropical, exotic tropical luxury places. What's it, Bali?
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of thing. That's what I'm into.
Maldives. Vacation, I would say just, yeah. I don't necessarily. I'm not. I wouldn't go on just the luxury one, but I like the cities more. So I'll go to like.
We switch. We try to go back and forth. You do the
Hanoi.
city, you do the tourist thing, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you do the tropical thing.
But
What city are you missing?
Unfortunately, you're
I've
kind of
never been to
walking
London.
back what you just said.
I'm not
'Cause you
walking
said
it back.
You wanted to go to a luxury thing. I'm saying I want to go to culture and see culture and be part of culture, and so that's the difference between you
fucking
and me.
hate your guts.
Do you understand?
What does the fam like on the pizza?
Ooh.
We do pepperoni all across the board.
No. It has to be just cheese, no salad, as my son likes to say.
Well, he doesn't want anything on
Any
the pizza.
can't be any, like, you know, those sometimes they'll put like a basil leaf or.
Did you just say, guess what? You're 5 and there's 4 of us who like actually some flavor?
And then he's like, guess what? Watch this.
Yeah, right.
And we're like, oh shit, he's got all the power. We have nothing.
Nerdy introverted mama, how did your sex life change after kids? It got interrupted more?
It didn't.
It's actually I've never had that happen.
It
Have
didn't. It didn't change.
didn't
at all.
change?
We just haven't ever had sex again.
you?
We
Everyone.
just,
Have
yeah,
you ever
yeah.
been interrupted in the deed?
Close. Yes, close. But we have had someone come to the door, but we don't lock the door, but we'll put the like a obstacle in front of
Yeah.
it.
Like one of your other kids? Just stay here. Don't tell anybody what we're doing. Block the door.
Turn around, face the other way.
Julie Martin mom says, thoughts on homeschooling. I'm not a fan because I could never do it, and I think socialization is important. Obviously, in this day and age with all the scares and the shootings and all this stuff, and also the fact that, you know, a lot of people don't have a problem with the curriculum. I don't have that problem. I'm good with most of the curriculum.
I think your kids need to be in school. I think they need to be socialized.
I don't know about need to be, you know, to each their own. You want to go, you want to get on that corner?
I don't know. It's a question to us.
It
so
is.
That's,
You're right.
I'm answering
You're wrong
it.
about it. Mama Llama, boxers, briefs, or tighty whities?
Box brief.
Do you do the boxer briefs?
Yeah.
I do boxers.
Broxers.
I'm curious about boxer briefs that I haven't done it yet.
They're great.
One time I tried to buy them and accidentally bought tighty whities or tighty Grady's.
You tried. Just go on Amazon. You can see a picture of what you're buying. You click that picture, and then it goes to your cart, and you click the button. And you
Explain to me more about how the internet works.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you might need to.
I'm a
Mr.
creature of
Tidy.
habit, as our friend Tim might say in one of his songs on his EP.
He doesn't say
Creatures
that.
of habit.
He doesn't say that about you.
Little Charm 80, what do you think you'd be doing in your life if you didn't have kids? Whatever the fuck I wanted. Having fun.
Unbelievably successful.
I tell you, I wouldn't have a fucking podcast about having kids.
There you go. Unbelievably.
You wouldn't know who I
unsuccessful.
was. Yeah.
You'd be just miserable, and no one cares.
Sergeant Di, who is also known as Sarge, says each episode should end in mailbags, and I like that idea.
Yeah, that could work. That could be good.
Oh, Pete's into it. Pete doesn't like to break from routine.
I like anytime we're hearing from you guys. Actually,
Sonia,
I
Colorado. Let's end it on this. Sonia, Colorado Art Bomb says the show is Dad and Buried, and Mike is Dad. Does that make Pete buried?
Oh,
Fucking ain't right, it does.
Sonia,
Buried in my goddamn
you.
dust.
Am I the ampersand?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Nate's the ampersand.
Nate's the shovel. Oh my god.
Nate's the shovel.
You know what?
Burying your ass.
Good one. Good way to end it is on a burn.
I hope you guys learned a lot about us this week. We appreciate all the questions.
Yeah.
Pete has a lot of weird stances, I think we've discovered over the past few weeks. You're a weird dude.
Okay.
And you for some reason, you won't admit why you don't have an accent. I'm not convinced you ever lived in England.
Okay.
Let's be honest about
That's
it.
fine.
You never named your favorite movie. You said Rushmore was up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you talking about? You're
I'm
you're
gonna
calling back.
for me.
To
I am. I'm gonna
answers
talk about
that you
the
noted.
original Manchurian
Why are
Candidate,
you looking at your
Rosemary's
notepad?
Baby, Taxi Driver, Raiders of the Lost
what are
Ark.
you doing?
These are some of my favorites.
You're listing your favorite.
I'm listing some of my favorites.
Okay.
I have a hard time thinking off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mentioned Flirting with Disaster.
Yeah.
You make me a little bit sick to my
this,
stomach.
This podcast has gone real well. I think.
I
That's
think
our
it has
30th.
gone well. It was our 30th.
forget-
For our 60th podcast, what are we going to do?
Oh my God, we only know. No, Lord knows.
We're going to think about it.
Yeah, we're gonna think about it real hard. But
Wow,
this was
don't
great.
be
It was
gross.
good hearing about all the questions, and we're happy to answer more. We do lives. I guess we're starting to do lives.
Yeah, we're
every
going to do
week.
live. So every time before we record, although next week you won't be here, so maybe I'll do one on my own.
Okay,
Nobody's going to miss you. Guess
right.
what? That's just my prediction.
I'm sure that's
People will be like,
fine.
"Where's Pete?" No one's going to say, "Where's Pete?" They're going to be like, "Thank God."
like that. Guy.
Nobody's pointing at the
Uh,
camera again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fucking Pete.
well, no one's gonna be able to drink then, if that's the case.
Well, I guess if you're playing,
you're
unless
playing
I
the
just
drinking
keep
game.
mentioning my verification,
exactly.
there'll be a lot of
There you
drinking.
go.
Thanks
All right,
for joining us, guys. We
Rate
had a lot of
us,
fun. Hopefully, we get another
subscribe.
30 to go.
We love you. Thank you.
We got a back to school episode coming up. Be ready. I don't know why you would still be watching this isn't a Marvel movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there. In the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money. All the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.